Welcome to the Anime Reviewers. I'm Matt.
I'm Zach, and today we're going to be talking about Jujutsu Kaisen Episode 11, Narrow Minded.
I really like this episode. It was a nice break from the action-packed episode that was the previous one. It resolves what the little bit that was left from there. Just letting you know the conditions of Mahito and Nanami. I really liked how it starts with Itadori and Junpei just talking. I just really enjoyed that they didn't have some elaborate scene where they chased around with weird curses. And Itadori, I liked how Itadori was was conflicted and trying to figure out how to actually best address the situation. That uncertainty, being that he has no experience being a sorcerer, whether he should reveal how much he should reveal to him, what he's allowed to reveal,
and even what he should be asking.
Yeah,
because he ultimately resolves on asking one question, gets told no. He's like, okay, well, can you just wait till maybe boss shows up?
Yeah, and then they just start talking about movies, and they just relate to each other a lot. And Junpei he's just so excited to have someone, someone being nice to him.
He's also really cautious because Mahito also told him that Jujutsu sorcerers were his enemies, but he also told him if he sees anyone wearing the swirly pin, which is what the Jujutsu sorcerers wear, that he should befriend them. So he is. I don't think he's so much excited that Itadori's being he's just confused on what. I think he more enjoys it later in the episode, but I think at the beginning he's more trepidatious than anything else.
Yeah, I just love the dialogue where they're talking about terrible movies.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact that they have similar tastes on movies, and they're talking about a particular, the third one in a series.
The second one, how it's better than the first one or the third one.
Well, initially they talk about the third one. They initially talk about the third one because it was super boring, and then they go on to, then they start talking about how much better 2 was, and why it was better, and all this other stuff. And it's just fun watching them interact, and, it then goes into...
Junpei's mother comes up, and Junpei is very... He's very mad at his mom for still smoking, and he's just embarrassed by her because of her behavior. And then you later figure out it's not just smoking, but she drinks. She's sitting there laughing at Itadori, and you can see a can of beer.
Yeah, and I think even their interaction at the dinner is hysterical because we get to see Itadori's making jokes that the mom thinks is funny, but Junpei's like, oh, mom, you're too, he's thinking you're too drunk, you're the worst kind of... And then Itadori starts making jokes, movie reference jokes, and Junpei is now laughing at them while the mom's like, I have no idea what's going on.
Takes the scallion and draws on the plate and makes Wilson's face. And Junpei is trying to be a stick in the mud because he's just being you get the sense of him just kind of being a typical teenager. No matter what his mom could do, it's going to be embarrassing and disappointing. And then he goes to take a drink, and then they do a spit take where when Itadori kneels down and goes, Wilson! And then the mom is just sitting there not laughing at all. And she doesn't get it. Is that a movie reference? I don't get it. And then Junpei is just starting, he's dying of laughter. And I just love how it shows how Itadori is not earlier on when Junpei talks about the movie, he breaks down in a very intellectual way, and Itadori's like, oh, so no wonder I was able to keep calm this way. To where that shows that Itadori's good at read people.
Yeah.
Because he was reading, he could read the room, okay, I've made her laugh, I'm gonna make this person laugh now.
We go more into Itadori and Junpei talking more personally, and Junpei calling out Itadori for being a Jujutsu sorcerer and asking if he's killed anyone and won't you have to fight bad sorcerers and things like that. And Itadori, being Itadori, hasn't killed anyone, has no intention of killing anyone, and is explaining this to Junpei because when Junpei asks about evil sorcerers, Itadori says he still wouldn't want to kill them. And explains the fact that, if he feels that if he kills one person, it's going to open the door to make killing an option. And essentially, it's going to become easier and easier to take that option. And at a certain point, his fear is the fact that like if he like once he opens that door, is that the people closest to him, the people he cares about, if killing is an option, what are their lives all of a sudden worth?
Yep.
And I think it's a great thing. You know, I love that conversation, and especially when Junpei's thinking about it after the fact. Because up till now, like with Junpei up till now, we've seen him sort of like teetering on the edge of like, is he going to join Mahito? Is he going to step away from him? Like, and after his conversation with Itadori, he resolves that he cannot kill. Until his mother dies, like right away.
Yeah, and she wakes up when the lights are off and she passed out on the table. And she finds one of Sukuna's fingers, and then there's this really hideous curse right behind her. And then you find out quickly she died. But like right before that, Itadori, right when the Junpei and Itadori's conversation ends, it's just a scene that I thought was really funny, and it just kind of lets you know what the adults are doing. Where the Ichiji calls Itadori and lets him know he's going to be on his way, and Itadori says it'll be I'll give me 2 hours, and then
they're about to watch a movie.
Ichiji gets mad because right before that whole thing, he went on this tirade about what his responsibilities of an adult are, and that's something I found kind of refreshing in anime, in any show actually, not just anime, where the adults actually have a sense of responsibility towards these children and recognize that they're putting these kids in dangerous situations, as opposed to just kind of like, you can handle it, you gotta learn.
Yeah.
Drown, sink or swim.
Yeah. The adults in this are very, very good, because they don't have the sink or swim mentality. Not completely, I should say. Like, they do want them taking on sort of risky things, because it comes with the nature of the job that they're doing, but they also don't want to go, hey, I have to put you in the deep end. It's like, no, we're going to put you in the medium end, where you can figure out how to swim safely, but if you land at the bottom, you can walk yourself to the shallow end. Like, it's not dangerous right there, but they're not throwing them in the deep end.
Yeah. Then you get this really awesome conversation between Geto and Mojito, and they're talking about, was it worth giving up one of Sukuna's fingers to basically push Junpei over the edge.
Well, what I actually really like about that in particular is the fact that it seems like, as much as Geto and Mahito are working together, they also have their own goals. And we're getting to see a taste of that right now, because Mahito is worried about giving up the finger, whereas Geto's like, oh yeah, it's fine. It doesn't matter. So it's nice getting to see the fact that Geto did this intentionally, Geto has planned for it.
And is unconcerned with...
And is completely does not care about, And what I personally really liked about that conversation more than anything is the fact that the reason that Mahito and Geto are doing all of this, pushing Junpei towards Itadori, pushing Junpei over the edge, and all of that, is that they're trying to force Itadori into a contract with Sukuna, because they don't know he already has a contract with Sukuna. It's great the fact that, because we've seen that end of the things, we know no matter what they do, their plan fails. Because they're trying to force him into a contract that benefits them, whereas he's already in a contract that benefits Sukuna only.
Well, I was under the impression that you can have multiple contracts, so they may not know of the other one, but they still might be able to push him into... That was one of my thoughts anyways, is they may not be able to push him into a contract, they may not just because there may be some rule, but it's maybe they could they'll push him and succeed in some way of getting more contracts, because he's drawing on Sukuna's power more and more.
I don't think you can have more than one contract with the same entity. So I don't believe he can have more than one contract with Sukuna.
Yeah, they haven't established that clearly to me anyways. I don't recall that. Then you get this really awesome part where you just see Junpei walk into the high school. First he puts on clothes that are his mom's. And he's like, I didn't own anything black, so I went into my mom's closet and grabbed the first thing that caught my eye. And I like how that's why he was actually mad at his mom for the smoking and all that stuff, because he cares about her, and she's just not taking care of herself and probably him too.
Well, I don't know. We get some flashbacks with the two of them. I don't think she takes like the best care of it.
Yeah.
Like it's
She's
not how,
there.
but she does. She's there. She does care.
And she sits down for dinner with him. And
yeah.
She gets drunk, but she sits down and actually
But she is there.
spends
Yeah.
time with them.
And we even see a scene where she gives him surprisingly good advice.
Yeah.
Which she gets overly proud about by herself.
So Junpei then goes into the high school where some sort of ceremony thing is going on, and everyone just loses consciousness because Mojito like made this like barrier that made anyone
The veil
knocked everyone out, excluding the teacher who had ignored the bullying and said like, "Oh, those are your friends," and shows him like what's under his hair, which is a bunch of cigarette burns on his like right on his on the corner of his forehead, and why he had his hair in the style he did. And the teacher just has this like revelation where he realizes what he's been ignoring and how bad it really was.
Yeah.
Then Junpei just walks away from him and confronts the bully walking on stage, like walks on stage with the bully. And the bully's like taken back by him and then kind of intimidated, but he's trying to like have this like bravado.
Yeah.
And Junpei says to him, like, "Did you put that thing in my house?" And the bully doesn't even understand what he's talking about. And Junpei says, like, just like some more cold stuff of how, and essentially just kind of accepting the fact that he's been broken and pushed over the edge.
Yeah.
And then the bully's arm just like it's this weird like burn acid, like some sort of burn acid type thing. Yeah, hives. And they're like purple. It looks really cool. And it's going up to his arm, and he's like wrenching in pain. And then Itadori comes through the door, double doors that in the gym. Then the episode ends.
We do get a brief glimpse of Junpei's like curse, which is this like giant jellyfish thing, before the thing ends, which is super cool looking.
Yeah,
it's a great shot of it.
And show like, and that was the thing that like I always kind of assumed, and I'm just glad they're showing that there are other sorcerers that are like Megumi, because I was kind of hoping there weren't all going to be like every character was going to be completely unique, because that's something I thought was kind of silly in Bleach. It's just like we all have our own powers, so your power scaling sucks. But that's everything I have to ultimately say about this episode, which was awesome.
Yeah, this was a great episode. Very enjoyable to watch, a lot of fun, and yeah, I think that's all for us that we have to say on it.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And hit that bell icon for notifications. Also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Links in the description down below.